so we would not be We Go There if we didn't cover all topics around fertility. Hi, we would not be We Go There if we didn't cover all the topics. And in this pregnancy series that we're doing, it's so important that we talk about fertility and fertility issues. And I am like so grateful that Amy, who is our VP of operations at Waxon, has decided to come forth and sit with us and talk about all the realness that has to do with fertility, you know, miscarriages, going through IVF, all of those things that are so real. And one of every 6 women actually experiences fertility issues. So it's such a real thing that needs to be talked about more. And I think it's really impressive and amazing that Amy has the strength and courage to come forth and tell her story and help people like you out there that may be going through the same thing. So let's go there.
Do you have tissues? You do? Okay, great. Just in case.
I got it.
Just in case I go there.
Okay, so can you just give us some background around your, I guess, fertility journey?
Yeah, it started 2 years ago. It started after my second miscarriage. Oddly, my issue was actually not getting pregnant. I was getting pregnant very easy, which is sort of an unusual side of, you know, this fertility journey. It started 2 years ago when I went to see my doctor at the recommendation of the midwife I was with at the time, because, you know, I was pregnant and I thought, what other way would this end but with a healthy baby?
Yeah.
So at her recommendation, I went to see someone. So at the second miscarriage, I went to see him. Just got his advice, and he kind of put it down to maybe this is just blind, like bad luck. So he suggested we get pregnant again, and we did very quickly.
Right.
And when we had the same outcome with that pregnancy, another loss, we realized we needed further intervention. So that's when the IVF journey started, and we started IVF last year. And you know, after egg retrieval and multiple attempts at embryo transfers, it's quite a stressful, you know, time in your life, and there's a lot of medication and hormones and injections that, again, people don't tell you about. Common theme here. So yeah, we're going to start again in March or April, and hopefully we get our happy ending, and hopefully it ends with a little baby like this.
First, you're gonna take a big vacation, and
I'm taking a big vacation. There's so many hormones and medications that, again, nobody tells you about, and we just made the decision before we just start again, let's just take a break, mentally, physically, everything, just like detox mode, and go to big trip, and then when we come back, we'll try again, and yeah, hopefully it's going to work. I'm in great hands. The doctor is incredible, and yeah, hopefully it all works out.
Exactly. So, okay, so Amy came forth really early on, like very early on, as soon as she started having any type of fertility issues. And so I think the thing that I want to talk about with you is how you had that courage to come forth and talk about it, and what that did for you. Like, did you find that helpful? Like, just talk about your mindset around how you took that leap, and then what it's done for you.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be such a stressful situation. I knew it was going to be a really stressful journey if it wasn't just 1 miscarriage, it's 2 miscarriage, 3 miscarriage. I sort of knew going into it that this was going to be a really stressful journey, or this could be a really stressful journey. And I witnessed my sister go through it for 10 years. So to see her sort of keep it all locked in, I saw, and she now talks about how it did affect her work, her relationship, her work-life balance, and she really let it affect her mentally. So when I sort of started to realize I have a bit of a problem, or we have a bit of a problem, I sat myself down and I just said to myself, I'm committing to talk about this just like I would if there was a loss in my family.
Right.
I would surround myself with a team of people, you know, my friends, to my lovely boss, like to my co-workers, and that's like a commitment I made to myself. It's going to be challenging, sort of like admitting that there's a problem, but I know in the long run how much it's going to help me. So I just took the leap forward and I said, we're going to talk about this, and we're not going to stop talking about it. And I kind of have not stopped talking about it. I'm probably boring you by now with all of this. No.
But mentally, like, have you found that's been, like, how's it helped you?
It has helped me so much. Like, you know, we can sit here lightly and just talk about this, and it's a very dark conversation. So, and it's a dark journey to be on, and I definitely think that my journey has been, and you know, we're still in it, will continue just to be, I think the best way to describe it is more manageable. When you're not secretive about an appointment you have to be at, or why you're missing a family dinner, or medication that you have to take, or why you're locking yourself in a bathroom stabbing yourself with injections. Like, it's extremely challenging, and I think it was just so important for me to just to commit to talk about it. And I genuinely believe this journey has been made a little bit easier from my incredible support system, being my friends and my coworkers and my employer, and I truly believe it's helped me. And I'm not saying it's been like an easy journey, but I 100% believe that it's made my journey thus far more manageable and not adding stress to an already heightened stressful situation.
For sure.
Yeah.
And and being that you are front and center of a group of over 100 women that you interact with, the example that's given is like, I know it's huge, because you're, you know, showing and leading by example in many ways, work, but also in the personal life. So
totally. And it wasn't just like a decision for myself, like I knew it would help me in my journey, but the other part of that commitment to talk about it and to not stop talking about it was sort of for the people around me as well, not just like my coworkers, but for my friends, my family. I have tons of sisters, so you know, for everyone around me, I knew if this is going to happen to 1 in 6 women, and 15 to 25% of pregnancies end in miscarriage, like I wanted to be that source of, come talk to me also, because there was the things I wish that I wish I had known going into it.
Right. So, and on that topic, like what has surprised you the most? What do you wish that you had known? Fast forward 2 years at the very beginning of this journey, like what do you wish that you had known then?
And it's funny you should ask that question, because I've sat around and thought about, okay, so far what has been the most challenging thing? Because also now, because I'm so open about it, I've had multiple friends and friends, sisters just come forward and just sort of ask me, like, what is it? Like, I've just had my second miscarriage, like what can I expect? And I sat back and thought about it this week, and it's probably going to shock people when I say the hardest part of everything, and that I wish someone had told me about, was the waiting game.
Right.
It's not the well, for me, it wasn't the injections, it wasn't, you know, 4 miscarriages, it was the waiting. Like, no one prepares you that you don't just get a miscarriage confirmed. Well, some people do, but a huge volume of miscarriages, you know, it takes weeks to even confirm a miscarriage. And then I thought, like, oh, IVF, great, egg retrieval, embryo transfer would happen in a matter of months, and it's not the case. It's just this waiting. Yeah. So at the same time, like, I'm learning how to be extremely patient. But I think I would have gone into it a little bit more, like, my timing, the whole time expectation on the timeline, just more clear. I definitely thought this wouldn't be taking this long.
And you're quite a doer. So.
I'm quite a doer. So I'm like, well, usually when I put my mind to something, I can get it done. And it's almost like, you know, frustrating to think like I don't have control of this, and that's okay. And I just need to let the experts around me, you know, guide me in the direction I need to go. So it's the waiting that shockingly was just the most frustrating part, that I wish someone had have told me about, or I wish I had an outlet like this.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. And so another thing that I know we've talked about before is, like, there's a huge, you know, the stigma of what a miscarriage looks like, and in the movies it's like bleeding and this pain and all these things, and, you know, I'll never forget you coming to my house after an ultrasound appointment. And so what, like, I think it's important for everyone to know, like, the different types of miscarriages, and that it's not all that. So can you explain, like, some of your experiences? And
I think that's another part of, like, not just the waiting, like, what I wish I had known. I wish I had known what the other miscarriage looks like, because I was under the impression that, you know, in the movies, like, it's like this aggressive amount of bleeding that occurs. You wake up and a doctor confirms it, and you get to grieve and sort of try and move on. But that wasn't the case for me. Like, 3 of my 4 miscarriages was just the natural, okay, great, now it's the 8-week, I'm pregnant, 8-week scan, there's no heartbeat. And it's not just confirmed there and then. And I think that's what was, like, so shocking to me, that, like, but wait, I've gotten this far. Like, what do you mean there's no heartbeat? Like, I got pregnant, there's been no bleeding. how can I be having a miscarriage? It just didn't make sense to me. So they call it a missed abortion.
Oh, right, a missed abortion. And I remember you coming over to my house after the first appointment, ultrasound appointment. You come over, but you had no clear answer. And then you were going away with your sister. You don't know if you're pregnant or not. You couldn't drink the whole time, which like at that point, who deserves to drink more than you? Exactly. And you're just waiting to understand and get the results back. Yeah. And then painfully you're calling to try and get your results, and no one's giving you answers. And like that whole cycle, I would never ever had imagined.
Exactly.
And you never knew.
Exactly. And miscarriage doesn't just come on, like this medication that I then needed, and then that didn't even work. And then the waiting game continues, and I still have this fetus inside me, and then it ends in D&Cs, and I had to have multiple D&Cs, which is a surgical procedure to sort of bring on the miscarriage. No one tells you about that until I opened up with my family, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I had a D&C, and oh, I also had a D&C, and I just wish someone I wish I had an outlet to sort of read up about what a D&C is, what the procedure looks like, and there's nothing really that I had to sort of prepare me for the, almost I call it the other miscarriage, because what you don't see.
Yeah. Oh, you're so strong. So strong. What advice, because you have been through a lot, and what advice in your perspective looking in on this, and I know you're still in it, which is what also is so amazing about you, but what do you want to tell people? Like, what advice can you give anyone who's sitting at home that maybe is going through this right now and hasn't really shared it, or doesn't know what to do?
I mean, first of all, like, you're not alone. Like Lexi opened this up with, like 1 in 6 women. It's one too many, but it happens, and it's just your journey, and it's normal, and it's okay that you're going through this, and just talk about it. Like, I keep saying it, and I won't stop saying it, but talking about it is so important, to just build that support system around you and just talk about it, because then it'll help other people open up to you, and then you don't even realize, like, I have found out recently, so many people and so many friends and family members and my mom and like everyone's having miscarriages that I wasn't even aware of. So just start the conversation, because it can be personally healing, but also can help other people around you as well. And then, miscarriages are normal. Like, as I said, 15 to 25% of pregnancies end in pregnancy loss. So, I just think people need to know that's so normal, and it's really tough, and it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to understand that it is a really traumatic situation. So take the time to rest and let your body heal. Yes. Don't just get up and, your body went through something so huge. So give yourself the time, but it's the consecutive miscarriages that I quickly learned that was the issue. So if you're, experiencing consecutive pregnancy loss, like, that's when you need to go see someone. I feel so lucky that I just made the decision to just go see someone. I was seeing someone after my second miscarriage, because I just felt like this, just 2 in a row, coming out of seeing my sister go through this, I knew there was something up.
And you said, like, your gut, like, we have good intuition.
Exactly.
And you just felt you needed to.
Exactly. Like, as women, we're so intuitive, and we know when there's a problem. So go see someone. And in Canada, we're so lucky that, our healthcare, this fertility doctors, like, we're so blessed, and we have that access to phenomenal fertility doctors and specialists. And just go see them. I think that's, for me, I feel so lucky that I just made that decision. While I still feel slightly young,
you're young.
Just go see someone and talk about it, and let the professional take you to the next level, and get help if needed. Because it is like I said, it's so natural, it's so normal to experience miscarriage. It's just the consecutive miscarriages that doctors are concerned about.
For sure. Well, you're phenomenal. Like,
well,
so strong and amazing. I'm so lucky because I get her.
Well, this will be me next year.
Exactly. And then we'll do it. But it's true. And I want to, again, state, like, so when you go through pregnancy, you have a team around you. Yeah. And I think you said it, it's so important to have a team around you during this part as well, in terms of any fertility issues, and building that team and support system. Like,
exactly.
I'm sure it's made a big difference, and you're such an amazing example. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you. Aww. Get those tissues out now.
Now we're gonna cry.
Now I'm gonna cry.
But thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.